Hello, everybody, and I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Irtaza Hassan. I am the founder CEO for Tutify, and we are here for the day two of World Quest. As uh, you all know, yesterday was a very informative session with a lot of talented people who were here in Pakistan. We're experiencing some wonderful weather today because it's been raining all across Pakistan in all the major cities. So I can expect the weather was good. And so we definitely look forward to having a lot of learning with all of you today. We have been joined by Noor, everybody. She's the Director Internationalization at Oxfordian. We have been joined by the founder CEO of Oxfordian, which is Miss Shazia. And we would be right away going to our first speaker today, everybody. So at World Quest, we believe that we have the ability to shape up the narrative that you want to hear from us. And today it's all about guiding you, mentoring you, and supporting you with your queries. I'm very happy to introduce everybody. Tom is here with us. He is the international consultant for Tutify, as well as the founder of TW Finder Consulting, from a dedicated human being working for higher education for as far as I could remember. So a very warm welcome to Tom to this day two of World Quest. I'm sure you're going to learn some very interesting things from him and his personal experiences. Over to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Itzel. Very happy to be here. Very keen to participate in World Quest. I'm very grateful to be a part of this fantastic journey. Great introduction as well. Thank you. For those of you who may have come across me before on LinkedIn, I'm Tom. If you've not, I'm still Tom. I'm based in Manchester in the north of England. I've worked in UK and international higher education now for nearly 13 years. I've worked for universities, I've worked with universities, I've worked at agencies, and now I run my own consulting business, helping out agencies, universities, and students alike achieve their global study dreams, really, however I can be of assistance. And that's what's brought me to work with Tutify and World Quest and become part of this great project. So, pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the introduction.
Over to you, Noor.
Thank you, Tom. We welcome you to World Quest. That's the day two. And I'm just going to build up from what Itiza was saying. And I would like to keep this bilingual, if everybody would allow me. Shazia, if you can remove the spotlight and just put me on a gallery mode, that would be super, super good. Thank you so much. Yeah, much better. I can see everybody else as well. All right. So कल की हमें काफी सारी feedback आई और बहुत सारे आप में से लोगों ने हमें बताया that you're studying different disciplines. आज का agenda क्या है? So let's take you there as well. We have the session today planned out in a way कि हम कुछ असली real life लोगों की कहानियां सुने, उनकी stories सुने और उनसे ये सीखें कि उनकी journeys जब वो शुरू कर रहे थे, with just like you were a couple of years ago, right? When they were starting off their journey, उनकी motivation number one क्या थी कि study abroad करना है तो कैसे करना है और कहाँ से शुरू करना है, फिर university selection का process कैसा था, और फिर उस जर्नी के अंदर जो स्पीड ब्रेकर्स हम कहते हैं ना आते हैं, you have some highs, you have some lows, and then you go on to that journey and learn actually about कि यार सक्सेस तो है, बड़ी एक चीज है जिसको लोग बड़ा वेग समझते हैं, and the definition of success also might be really different for everybody else, but what is it that you need in terms of your skill set? How is your mindset aligned to get you to where you want to be, and how should the journey look like for anybody from Pakistan who wants to start off a career journey? So I'm really happy that I have to introduce to you the director of our college. Adil is here as well, and I'll give him the podium now, the microphone, the invisible microphone, so that he could share his journey of starting off. Where did you start off from? How was the journey like in, just finding out a university, studying abroad, and 15 years later, where you are now being the director of Oxfordian College? Ji Adil bhai.
I'm going to spotlight him. Oh yeah, so thank you very much, guys, and thank you Irtada, thank you Noor, thank you Tom, thank you Shazi for conducting this kind of show today. Hello everybody. This is Adil Kiani from Oxfordian College. तो जैसे नूर ने बताया आप सबको कि एक्चुअली जो मेरा इन्होंने मुझे टॉपिक दिया था वो ये था कि हाउ आई स्टार्टेड एक्चुअली एज अ स्टूडेंट टू बिकम अ एंटरप्रेन्योर ना तो ये जर्नी बड़ी लंबी है सो बेसिकली आई स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 2008 राइट सो जब आई हैव डन माय ग्रेजुएशन बीकॉम फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान पंजाब कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स and after that I've started the internship with one of the consultancy firm in Pakistan और वहाँ से फिर ये एक्चुअल में मेरे पास मेरा इंटरेस्ट बना था इंटरनेशनल एजुकेशन के अंदर ना तो 2009 के अंदर व्हेन आई शिफ्टेड परमानेंटली टू द यूके और जब हमारा यूनिवर्सिटी स्टार्ट हुआ और आई हैव कंप्लीटेड माय एमबीए फ्रॉम कोवेंट्री यूनिवर्सिटी तो इसलिए मुझे थोड़ा सा पाकिस्तान की एजुकेशन के बारे में भी पता है और यूके के बारे में भी पता है क्योंकि मैं खुद एक इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट रहा हूँ तो जो स्टूडेंट्स को जो परेशानियां आती हैं वहाँ पे तो वो मैं देख रहा हूँ क्योंकि आप सब लोग स्टूडेंट हो वहाँ पे और ऑब्वियसली मतलब अगर हम लें इस तरीके से कि जो एजेंडा है हमारा कि क्योंकि हम लोग एनसीसी को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं इस टाइम तो ऑब्वियसली द डिप्लोमास और सर्टिफिकेट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम लेवल 3 to level 7 तो हर एक जो अंडर ग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम है वो कैसे काम करता है और इसके बाद प्रोग्रेशन रूट क्या बनता है और कैसे कैसे जा रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली वो इंडस्ट्रियल स्पेशलिस्ट है जैसे इर्तजा है ऑब्वियसली इज मैनेजिंग यूनिवर्सिटी ओवर देयर एज वेल नूर हैं फिर शाजिया हैं तो मेरा थोड़ा सा एक अपना एक रोल होगा जो शायद मैं भी अपनी जो बता सकूं आपको तो जैसे वहाँ पे हमने ये देखा था कि लाइक if any student completed like FSC और BSc या कुछ भी तो आप उसको आपको ऐसा लो कि उसके जो अल्टरनेट रूट्स हैं क्योंकि हमने तो ये देखना होता है कि हाउ वी कैन सेव टाइम और हाउ वी कैन सेव ईयर्स फॉर एग्जांपल के पाकिस्तान के अंदर अगर कोई बंदा मैं इट्स जस्ट लाइक एग्जांपल जस्ट टेक इट कि अगर कोई बंदा वहां पे करना चाहता है एलएलबी तो एलएलबी के लिए भी बहुत से अब शॉर्टकट्स आ गए हैं कि आफ्टर लेवल 3 अदरवाइज आफ्टर मैट्रिक अगर आप लेवल 3 कंप्लीट करते हो और फिर लेवल 4 5 में प्रोग्रेस करते हो तो स्ट्रेट वे आप यूनिवर्सिटी की प्रोग्रेशन ले लेते हो तो जो कोर्स आप लोग 4 साल में कंप्लीट करते हैं तो आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है टू कंप्लीट इन 1 year और 2 years टाइम तो यू कैन सेव मनी तो आपको वहां पे जो पैसे लगाते हैं एफए करते हैं बीए करते हैं बीकॉम करते हैं व्हाटएवर तो वो आपके लिए बड़ा एक लंबा सा एक प्रोसेस चला जाता है वहां पे तो अब खैर ये तो एक था एक पार्ट है तो ये इसलिए आपको ये मतलब जो हमारे रेलेवेंट लोग हैं ये भी आपको बताते जाएंगे इसके बारे में तो जैसे अब हम बिजनेस में कैसे आए तो 2012 से ऑनवर्ड्स मैं एजुकेशन सेक्टर के अंदर हूँ तो जिसमें हम लोग रिक्रूटमेंट के अंदर थे ज़्यादातर जो यूनिवर्सिटी की रिक्रूटमेंट्स और इस तरीके से करना और 2014 के अंदर फिर एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली थी टू वर्क एज अ डिलीवरी पार्टनर विद वन ऑफ द वेरी प्रेस्टिजियस कॉलेज इन लंदन तो उसके बाद एक्चुअल में हम लोगों का जंप इन हुआ था एजुकेशन सेक्टर के अंदर तो ऑक्सफोर्डियन कॉलेज का तो कल शाहजे ने बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन भी किया था कि हाउ ऑक्सफोर्डियन कॉलेज वो बना कैसे उन्होंने नाम कैसे रखा और सारा सो आई हैव जॉइंड हर बेसिकली इन 2022-23 तो क्योंकि उनकी जो हमारा कॉलेज रजिस्टर्ड था वो तो 2019 ऑनवर्ड्स था तो मुझे अभी 1 1.5 साल हुआ है टू जॉइन शाजिया बेसिकली एज अ बिजनेस पार्टनर तो वहां से अभी हम लोग बिल्ड कर रहे हैं चीजों को रास्ता रास्ता लेके जा रहे हैं यहाँ पे तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इस पूरी जर्नी के अंदर हम दास्तान सुनाने के लिए बैठे हैं तो बहुत लंबी है तो लेकिन जो मेरा स्लॉट है वो जो टाइम था थोड़ा सा वो आप सबके लिए कि वो यही है कि लोग आजकल थोड़ा सा ट्रेंड चेंज हो रहा है एजुकेशन का भी ट्रेंड चेंज हो रहा है और पाकिस्तान के अंदर स्पेशली बहुत से जो नए प्लेयर्स हैं वो भी आ रहे हैं और इसी तरीके से हम भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कुछ अच्छा एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया जाए जहाँ पे सब लोगों के लिए वैसी ही अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्रिएट की जाएं जो कि आप यूके के अंदर आके पढ़ो या यूके के बाहर रह के कर सकते हो तो बस इतना सा था और बाकी आप सुनेंगे रेस्ट ऑफ द स्पीकर्स थैंक यू नूर
Thank Thank you so much, Adil, for that. And so the journey is very real. Why do we have these real people in front of you? Is you guys, just like we discussed yesterday, just like we were telling you about the partnership that we have done with Tutify, is because we understand the agenda, we understand where you are coming from. And the most important thing for us right now is that you look at these alternative routes. We looked at yesterday the transnational education model, where you study at home, but you get an international degree and a platform. But ये सारे असली लोगों की कहानियां हैं. That is what you need to know. People who have gone through the process with very little money in their pockets, and then getting to where they are today. But the process has to be very, very systematic. What I've done right now is that I've shared the slides from yesterday. So just download them and have them on the site, because I remember that the levels are a bit too tedious for somebody to understand. So once you are done with the World Quest, which is going to end today, आपको बहुत अच्छा ही पता चल जाएगा फिर कि कौन से different levels हैं जिनके ऊपर हम कहाँ पे hop in hop out भी कर सकते हैं, and how can we value add to our existing qualifications जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं उनको हमें बेहतर करने के लिए opportunities मिल जाएंगी. Now, I have a question. Wonderful. We have people from Islamabad, Pindi, Bhakkar. I saw Jehlam, I saw Sargoda as well. So this is really what inclusion is all about. And this is why we have members of Wall of Hope here as well. So you are working in all of your domains. The point being, success is only a step away. Sirif, there's a process and a planning that's involved. Now, when I'm talking about the process and the planning and everything, there are some steps. Once you are learning to swim, you can't just, all of a sudden decide कि मैंने biggest pool में जाना है, वहाँ पे jump करना है, and then I'll find my way out of it. So we have Tom here, who's coming in from 14 years of, higher education background, and he has it sorted in terms of the study tips that he can share with you. This whole study abroad experience, where should I start off from? How much before in advance should I be looking at opportunities? What is my to-do? I told Tom, I gave him a suggestion that, Tom, if you could do a do's and don'ts for us as well. So we're going to hear from Tom more. I would like it to be a lot more interactive, how it was yesterday as well. So feel free to ask questions, and I'll keep bothering you in the chat box, and I need answers. Over to you, Tom.
Very much. Well, yes, it's going to be fairly quick look at everything that's required.
Your voice is a bit, it's blurry a little bit. So if you could, yeah. Is it just me, or Ritiza, can you also hear a little bit of distortion?
A lot of distortion, Tom, in your voice. Could you?
Yeah. So we'll just wait for a second. Try talking, Tom.
Okay, is it better now? I haven't changed anything since the last time.
It's a little better. It's a little better now. So just start talking and we'll tell you if it gets wobbly in the middle.
I'll change the audio. We'll continue with this. How does it sound a little bit better now, or it's still quite distorted? Be better? No, okay. Can you just take over for 2 minutes? I'm going to go and get some different headphones and a setup.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. You do that. While you do that, Tom, I'm just going to talk about, yes, Ikra, there is an English language training that's with NCC qualifications. So वो English language का test है और वो available है, free of cost होता है, तमाम वो लोग जो NCC के साथ join करते हैं. Very good. Okay. Bachelor's, very good. Aslan is from JLM as well. All right. While Tom is coming back up, I wanted to show you that video from yesterday. So I'm going to quickly pull up that video because today I checked whether it's working or not. So this is a 2-minute video. I'd want all of you, this is a myth busting video. This was just released less than a month ago by the UK Department of Education. So do take a look at it and then we'll join as soon as Tom.
Hello, I'm Bridget Phillipson, the new Secretary of State for Education here in the UK. I spent my first month in the job resetting relationships across the length and breadth of education, including with international students. That's because my passion is for a Britain that looks outwards in optimism, a Britain that builds bridges of friendship with other nations, a Britain that values the contribution of international students. I have a message for you. If you meet the criteria for entry to a UK university and for entering the UK on a student visa, then the British government and the British people will welcome you. If you're joining us this year, then we can't wait to see you in our university towns and cities soon. I have such admiration for you. You take a leap of faith to develop new skills and chase new horizons, and I am enormously proud that you want to take that leap here in the UK. We will do everything we can to help you succeed. That's why we offer those of you who successfully complete an eligible course the opportunity to remain in the UK on a graduate visa for 2 years after your studies end, or 3 for PhDs, to work, to live and to contribute. And the UK is a fantastic place to come and study. What better place to study science than the land of Charles Darwin, of Ada Lovelace and Alan Turing? What better place to study English than the land of William Shakespeare, the Bronte sisters and Zadie Smith? And what better place to study music than the land of John Lennon, Stormzy and Adele? I want students to come from around the world and build bonds with their classmates here in the UK, because friendships between students become friendships between countries. That's what education is all about. Not just a force for good in people's lives, but a force for good in our world. So come and join us and see for yourself.
All right. So the reason behind all of the myths that you must be hearing, that visa khatam ho rahe hain, international students ka koi jagah nahi hai, koi naukriyan nahi mil rahi. This is straight from the Department of Education. As per our information and as per what the state is saying, there is no particular changes in international student recruitment. Tom, let's do a voice check, and I hope it's better now.
Okay, is this loud and clear?
Loud and clear, absolutely.
Lovely stuff. To be honest, it was probably quite useful to have Bridget Phillipson's video played there anyway. And she clears up a lot of the concerns that I think people have had recently. So actually, just while I had to get these headphones, it's actually worked out quite well, because that's a very prescient and timely message there. Okay, so as I was about to begin earlier, we're going to take about 15 or 20 minutes just to cover off what planning your kind of higher education journey might look like, some do's and don'ts, some key points to address within that. I will say that this is an extensive process. It does take a quite significant amount of time to undertake. And therefore, the fact that we've only got a few minutes today, we could probably do 20 minutes on any of these areas. I'm someone who's always happy to be made available for questions and such, so we'll be able to field some of those in this session. But if people have follow-up questions after the session, or things kind of percolate in their mind and they think things over and only realize they have some questions later down the line, please do feel free to submit those, and I should hopefully be able to address them in time as well. Okay, so one of the first issues that Noor brought up is how, I think she mentioned how soon really you should begin starting to think about your potential higher education journey. And simply put, there's not really any time that's too soon to begin. Realistically, you might probably start to think about it a bit more actively, maybe 12 to 18 months out from your original, from when you want to come and study. But if it's something you're thinking about, even within a couple of years' time, it's never really too soon to begin to start kind of narrowing that field down for your potential subject area, where in the world you want to study. I'm, of course, speaking to you today from the UK, where we have a fantastic higher education history. But of course, you know, I'm very aware that there are plenty of other highly sought after higher education destinations around the world as well. So even narrowing that down to, do you want to study in the UK, US, Australia, Canada, Europe and beyond is a big question to begin that process with. Once you nail down roughly where in the world you want to study, you then have to start thinking about what it is you want to study. Those two things might even go the other way around for many of you. You might know, for example, that you want to study engineering, but you're not quite sure where, or you might know you want to study in the UK, but you're not quite sure what. So take the time to consider the course, the duration of that course, its future career prospects. Is the course you want to study a more practical course, or is it a more academic course? Does the course have a good split between spending time in the field and in the classroom? And so on and so forth. So you will have individual questions that you will want answered yourself about what your study means to you and what you want it to mean to you. What you want it to mean in terms of that study, what you want it to mean in terms of your career prospects in the future. So make sure that you kind of really internalize those questions for yourself. And when you begin that process of looking maybe 12 or 18 months in advance of those studies, find the information, use the university websites, use the search engines, speak to friends and family who may have studied abroad before, speak to individuals working in the sector like myself and the team available here today, and really do what you can to help answer as many of those questions for yourself in the first instance to equip yourself with the information you need to make the best study decision going forward. Obviously, I am here kind of representing the UK system as a whole here. In the UK, has a strong history and tradition of higher education. Many of you might be entertaining the idea of undergraduate study. Many of you might be thinking about postgraduate study. And whilst I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the differences, it is important to note that when we talk about undergraduate study, we're talking about your Bachelor of Arts and your Bachelor of Science, traditionally a 3 or a 4-year course, depending on the subject here in the UK. Whereas a postgraduate degree, a master's degree, a Master of Arts or Science, or a postgraduate research degree in something like a PhD, can vary in length based on the course that you choose. Most postgraduate taught degrees, that is, master's degrees, tend to be between 1 and 2 years in length, depending on the course. Whereas if you are a student looking at a PhD, that can be kind of 3-4 years plus, depending on the level of kind of depth and time that it takes for that study. So when you narrow down your level of study in terms of undergraduate or postgraduate, that will start to dictate the course length and indeed how long you will be embedded within that learning structure. It's important that you decide the course that's right for you, and within that, understanding the structure and teaching methods of that course are vital. We have already mentioned that some courses might be significantly more practical, and you might spend, for example, a lot of time in lab work or on field trips, particularly if you are perhaps a science student or engineering student, whereas some courses might be more academic. I come from an English literature background, for example, and much of my course time was spent in the academic environment, reading and writing, and much more classroom focused. But you will find that the majority of courses at all levels these days do have some blend of both the practical and the theoretical in what they offer. I'm aware a big question for many of you today and throughout this process will be around the financial aspect of things. And I think it is important to tackle this head on. The bottom line is that wherever you choose to study at the moment, it is significantly, it is a significant financial outlay. The tuition fees are quite high for international students, both in the UK and further afield. And on top of that, you then, of course, have to factor in living expenses and other associated costs. We will touch on a little bit later to do with scholarships and things that can help alleviate those costs. But the important thing is that if you are starting that research process for your degree 12 to 18 months out from when you would like to study, that at the same time, you choose to begin that saving process as well. As part of your application to come and study in the UK, you will need to demonstrate that you have the relevant funds in your bank account as part of your application, and therefore being able to demonstrate that is a key step in your higher education journey. Alongside that, as part of that overall process, probably one of the most important things outside of the academic application will be your visa requirements. Now, I'm not a qualified visa representative, but there are plenty of people out there who are. I'm sure many of the people here today will be able to direct you in that regard. What I can say is that within the UK, there is a company called, an organisation rather, called the Immigration Advisory Service. Their website is exactly that. If you just Google Immigration Advisory Service, you'll be able to find a ton of free information around what it takes to ensure that your visa is fully up to date, that you are compliant with the visa process, and that you have all the relevant documents as part of that. Any university you apply to will also make sure that they help you with that process. And as you use the counsellors as part of the agencies with whom many of you may choose to apply, many of those counsellors within those agencies will also be trained to be able to assist you with the visa. It's probably the least sexy part of the whole process, but don't let that fool you. It is one of the most important. So please, please make sure that you take the time to assess the visa options as part of your overall application. I know many of you will, of course, have achieved a certain level of study in Pakistan already. And one question that does often come up is around credit transfer. Now, it might be that some of you are looking to study in the UK, having completed part or maybe all of a degree at a Pakistani institution, or perhaps even somewhere else in the world. If you are in that situation, many universities do offer a credit transfer system whereby they will look at the equivalent value of the degree or qualification you have currently attained and see if you are able to translate that into their system. And in some instances, that might mean that, let's say you were looking at a traditional 3-year undergraduate course. In fact, they may say you may be eligible to translate that straight into the second year of study. This varies by course and it varies by university. This is something that the university will have on its website, and is something you will likely need to talk to them about because this does vary greatly. We have around 150 universities in the UK, plus many other places where you can go on to study for higher learning, and these regulations will be different for each of them. One thing I just briefly want to go back to mention is that whilst I'm speaking about the UK and I'm based in England, and I've talked about 3 years for your undergraduate degree, for those of you who may potentially want to look at studying in Scotland, they have an undergraduate system where their undergraduate degrees are 4 years long. So just bear that in mind if you are looking to study at a Scottish university. Just to round out this section on credit transfers, the benefits for those of you who may be eligible for that is that it can ultimately reduce the time on your course. So if it is a 3 or 4 year course, you may be able to bring that down. Naturally, if you're bringing the time spent on the course down, that in turn brings down the fees for that course. You will be able to, of course, gain recognition for your prior work and learning experience, and it can avoid the repetition of learning you may already have done with any study in Pakistan. So for those of you in that situation, it is an avenue that is absolutely worth exploring. Excuse me. In terms of making that application, regardless of what level you are currently at, you will, of course, need to submit the relevant documents from your academic learning. For many of you, this will probably be a combination of your high school certificates, your A-levels, or whatever previous qualifications you've done. Every university in the UK uses a system called ECTIS, that's ECCTIS. Some of you may be familiar with it previously being known as NARIP. That is a massive database that allows the UK universities to look at the equivalent value of your qualifications and what they would be within the UK system. So don't worry about having to do any of that conversion yourself. Your agent will help you with that, and the staff at the universities know what to do with the Pakistani qualifications, or indeed any qualification you may have gained globally. They will be able to look at the equivalent value of that and how that translates into the UK system. Again, this whole process is supported by your education counsellors, so please do seek advice from them as they help you through that process. Both the education counsellors at your chosen agency with whom you may go through, and indeed speaking to the recruitment and international staff at the universities who are very much on hand to help you with this process. Many of you may actually end up meeting them at in-country fairs, as UK universities are very active in touring across South Asia, of which obviously Pakistan is a very, very strong market. We mentioned before that, of course, there is a substantial cost that comes with international study, and thankfully the UK is primed to be able to assist with that through a variety of scholarships and financial aid. Each university will offer its own scholarships, and the universities are very, very good at publicising what scholarships are available on their websites, and these can be across a whole range of factors. The university as a whole may offer significant scholarships. Equally, your course or the faculty within which your course resides may have scholarships of their own. Outside of the university, there are also scholarships available through bodies like the British Council, private organisations, and systems you may already be familiar with through things like the Chevening scholarships, Commonwealth scholarships, and so on. It sounds very, very simple, but it's still the best way to begin the process of seeing what financial aid may be there and available to you. Simply Google the university's name, go to their website and follow that with the word scholarships. It will take you to the relevant page. You may also be eligible for scholarships based on your previous or current academic achievement. So quite often, in a number of cases, scholarships are available where you've done significantly well in your current or previous academic study. So it really does pay to work hard now to help alleviate those costs further down the line. The flip side of this relationship is, of course, that whilst the overall costs are high, invariably some universities are cheaper to study at than others. Some cities in the UK are cheaper to live in, and some courses are even cheaper. For those of you looking at courses within the social sciences and humanities and potentially business as well, you may find that those courses run slightly cheaper than those of you who are looking to study science and engineering. Simply put, that often comes down to the fact that, as we kind of touched on before, studying those more practical courses, it comes with increased costs in terms of that practical element. If you are, for example, studying a language, studying a business course, studying a humanities course or English, there are less costs associated with what's needed to study within that. Equally, within the UK, where you choose to study can be a big factor. I don't think it perhaps comes as any surprise to people that choosing to study in London is significantly more expensive than choosing to study in perhaps the northeast or northwest of the country. I'm based in Manchester, which I would probably say is around the middle bracket for the financial aspect of things. But even within Manchester, we have a number of different institutions who vary their prices accordingly. You may choose to study at the University of Manchester, a very, very strong traditional university in the UK, and therefore its fees reflect that level of prestige. Likewise, you may choose to study at the universities of Salford or Bolton, newer universities who perhaps are still looking to establish that level of reputation, but nevertheless still offer fantastic degree courses, and therefore may be able to offer the course you want to study at a slightly reduced fee compared to somewhere like Manchester. So do consider the course that you're studying, but consider where in the country that's going to be based and how that might impact your financial ability to work, live, and study at the same time. Indeed, that final point, working is something that many of you may be considering alongside your degree. You may or may not be aware, that international students can work for up to 20 hours a week alongside their studies, and many students do choose to do exactly that, picking up part-time work at maybe a local supermarket or within their local city. There are plenty of efforts that the universities themselves will help you get involved in. And indeed, I began my higher education career working alongside my studies at my university at the time. I was a student many, many years ago at Lancaster University, and I became a student ambassador for them, helping deliver the open days, helping coordinate events on campus. And this is actually a fantastic way to help work alongside your studies and embed yourself in the fabric of your university as well. It isn't necessarily something I thought I'd find myself doing 14 years down the line, but it has turned into a really, really positive career for me. And potentially that could be an option for many of you too. Last few points now, and I think one of the key areas that Noah wanted me to cover off was effectively a good list of do's and don'ts. Now, I'm aware I've talked a lot today, but what I'll do is I'll send Noah this information afterwards, and she can then distribute copies of it to any of you who wish to kind of digest this at your own pace. But if any of you are making notes for now, here are just some of my key do's and don'ts as part of this process. So 5 do's to begin with. Do start early and research thoroughly. It's something we talked about throughout this process, and it's never too early to start. Do seek advice from current students and alumni. I'm sure many of you are interested in international higher education because you have friends and family who've gone on to do that themselves. Equally, I'm sure many of you are interested in it because you might get to be the first person in your family to explore this. Use the networks that you've got, use the alumni from your current or chosen institution, use the people around you to seek advice, both in terms of family and friends and the counsellors. Apply to multiple universities to increase your chances. Now, I will add a quick don't in here. That doesn't mean send out loads of applications to loads of unis and see what happens. That means pick 2, 3, or 4 institutions and subject areas that you know you're interested in and tailor your applications to each of those to give yourself the best possible chance. Within that, do make sure you focus on courses that align with your career goals. Ultimately, I'm sure many of you are choosing this path because you have a particular career in mind that you would like to go on to do, and that your degree in your international study is a key stepping stone in that. And lastly, this is a key point, and one I've not really mentioned, but I think is important. Do be aware of cultural differences and be prepared to adapt. International study is, by definition, about choosing to go out into the world, choosing to embed yourself in a new culture and take advantage of that. The UK is a great and varied place. We're home to millions of people from all over the world, and it's a really good opportunity to engage with those cultures alongside being embedded in UK culture itself. So come with an open mind to study, come with a willingness to integrate, and you will find that the UK, or indeed wherever you choose to study, will pay you back in that regard. Lastly, now on our don'ts, just 5 key points here that I would consider not hard don'ts, but maybe don't rely on these elements solely. So don't solely rely on rankings. Consider other factors like course content, faculty, location, student satisfaction score, feedback from friends and alumni, as we've discussed. Rankings are great, don't get me wrong, and they give you a good handle on where a university might place, but they don't give you a sense of feel or a sense of community or emotion around that. So consider the ranking as one of an overall number of things that might lead you to study a particular place. Tied to making sure you give yourself enough time to do your research. The other end of that spectrum is don't leave your application till the last minute. 1, that can contribute to mistakes. 2, in the worst case, course places might have filled up. 3, if that course comes with potential scholarship opportunities, they may already have been allocated. So be aware of the deadlines and make sure you get your applications in within plenty of time. Number 3, again, I will stress, probably the least sexy part, but probably the most important, do not overlook your visa requirements. Within that, it kind of links to that last point as well, but you can have all of your academic qualifications absolutely perfect, but if your visa requirements aren't met, that unfortunately will bring the whole process crashing down. So make sure that you are doubly paying attention to what's required of your visa. Number 4, avoid universities or programs that aren't accredited. Now, that's probably a bit strongly worded, but many of you will obviously be looking for degree pathways that come with not just the degree at the end of it, but the accreditation from the relevant registered body within that. For example, if you are looking to study accountancy, within that you would look for accounting degree courses that are ACCA accredited. What that means is you not only get your degree from the university, but the body of accountants within the UK recognises that as a professional qualification. Not every course comes with professional qualification because some courses simply aren't designed to. Again, English literature doesn't have a professional qualification associated with it. Many courses like media won't. But for those of you who want to study courses that do have professional qualification, make sure that course that you're studying comes with it. And lastly, again, it can't be overstated, but this is a significant financial outlay. So don't underestimate the financial commitment that is required. It is required, as we said, as part of that application process that you will need to demonstrate it. But if you are going to be studying for a number of years in the UK, make sure that you are able to support yourself through that, both in the immediacy and if that means picking up some work alongside your studies as well. Your studies should always come first. Your work shouldn't eat into your study, but at the same time, it may be something you look to do to help support yourself through that study period. Okay, so that's my 20 minutes pretty much on the dot. I am aware I have thrown an awful lot of information at you all today. As I've said, I'm going to make my notes available to Noor, and she can help distribute those to anybody who wants them. Likewise, I'll put my details on that. My company doesn't expressly work with student counselling in the traditional way, but I am happy to always answer questions. I'm happy to always help those and point you in the right direction. I've got many contacts within this field who are able to assist you. And indeed, this session is, of course, brought to you today in conjunction with Tutify, who are able to very much position themselves as part of your education journey globally. So please do use us, please do use the resources and make use of the network that you developed today and beyond that. And otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck in your education journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. I did help you out there a little bit. So if you'll see the chat, I was putting in my notes in the chat box, just to, albeit a little bit fancy. So I hope everybody understands the jargons and the equations that I've been sharing. So they were a little bit here and there, but essentially on Tom's point as to what he was trying to say. Wonderful discussion, you guys. Give me a thumbs up, a reaction if you're on board, if you agree with this. कहाँ है reaction tab? खोलें बताइए, कुछ समझ आ रही है या रूह परवाज कर रही है, रूह को नीचे ले आए, अगर रूह परवाज कर रही है तो
I want to see lots of thumbs, guys. Lots of thumbs.
Lots of thumbs up, absolutely, coming in. Excellent. I think we are reiterating all the points that we also discussed yesterday, Tom, in which we're talking about, you know, universities and progression. And I know for a fact this is going to be our next speaker's area of discussion, where she is going to really passionately talk about, you know, students who are looking for programs. I know, Tom, you spoke about top-up years, and even yesterday when we were here for day one of the World Quest, and I know for a fact that, you know, Irtaza deals with this day in, day out. Which university, Rebecca, which top-up year? What is it that could get us the shortest route? What is it that could get us the biggest, what you can say, mileage? And as you could see in the poll, I'm just going to reshare the results, that a lot of the students who are on the call today, we just asked them, here we go, factors you look for when deciding a career. So you say everybody is looking for interest, that's the highest, but then financial factors. And that's something that I would like to tell everybody, that even yesterday we were talking about a particular model, which is the transnational education model. And that's why we're so glad at Oxfordian that we have the collaboration with NCC, because they offer you a lot of distance learning options as well in the transnational education space. And also if you want to study in person, then we have those options as well. So we have Rebecca here with us, everybody, and she's going to take you through the guaranteed admission stream that NCC offers. A lot of people have been asking me that, Rebecca. So over to you.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah, excellent.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Noor, and thank you everyone at Oxfordian for inviting me to speak today and organising this fantastic event. So thank you for that wonderful introduction as well. I hope I live up to that now. So my name is Rebecca Bewley. I'm Head of Partnerships at NCC Education. I have been with the organisation for over 4 years now, and my capacity, my responsibility is to manage the relationships that we have at NCC with university partners, and to secure new progression and articulation routes for NCC students. So as we know, I think from yesterday's session with my fantastic colleague Helen, NCC Education's mantra is to educate, inspire and grow. Our main goal within the partnerships department is to ensure that all NCC students who choose an academic career with NCC have a range of good quality progression options to choose from when considering the next step. So whether that's that you're starting at level 3 or level 4, you know, at the very beginning of your academic career, right up until postgraduate qualifications, there's something for everyone to kind of choose from and guarantee that route into your next step. So today's agenda, we're going to discuss a little bit about NCC education. I know Helen will have explained quite a lot of that yesterday, but just to touch on it, the key partnerships that we have and the pathways that NCC offers. So NCC education was established as a computing initiative by the British government in 1966. Today, we have a network of over 240 educational partners across the globe that offer our British qualifications. We work with international schools, colleges, universities, and provide a range of study routes to get that British diploma or university degree. And we are a global provider of British education, and it's both through a combination of traditional and distance learning as well. Just going to switch my screen, bear with me 1 second. Can everyone still see okay? Yep, excellent. Apologies. So what we offer, there are two kind of spheres that we look at NCC Education. So you can study locally through an NCC Education accredited partner centre. So wherever you are in the world, a local accredited partner centre will offer our diplomas from level 3 right up to level 7 in computing, in business, and those qualifications are recognised by universities and professional bodies and employers worldwide. You can remain in your home country at that one accredited partner centre for your entire academic career, if you wish, for the whole journey. And we partner with those colleges to bring the qualifications to you where you are. The other alternative is to study abroad, as I'm sure Tom's explained about a lot of the different options abroad. But we have progression routes and what we call articulation agreements with universities across the world. A lot are based in the UK, but we also have agreements with USA, Canada, Australia, anywhere where you can actually go on to study and follow an English language taught and assessed course. You are pretty much able to take that NCC qualification and apply there. There's a mixture of kind of direct entry depending on where you're looking to study, and a mixture of subject disciplines right from the foundation through to our diploma qualifications as well. So NCC Education's university partners, we have key strategic partners that we work with in collaboration to actually provide direct programs to our students. So for level 6 or top-up degree, as we've kind of heard a little bit about, we work with the University of Central Lancashire. They're based in the north of the UK, of England, in Preston. And we also work with the University of Bolton through a college called Western International College online. For anything further than that, so moving away from your undergraduate degree to postgraduate, we are partnered with Cardiff Metropolitan University and also the University of Plymouth, and that provides a top-up to an MBA degree. Now, the student journey to a UK degree for an NCC student would look something like a level 4 diploma and a level 5 diploma in any one of our qualifications. As I mentioned, typically we kind of focus on business and computing, but there's computing with specialisms. So computing looking at kind of within an organization, within the business context, and also computing with cybersecurity. So all of our students typically start with level 4 in computing, which is quite general to get that good background of computer science, computer knowledge, and then go on to specialize at level 5. All of our partners actually offer something that kind of coincides or relates to that specialism at the final year. So moving from that level 4 and level 5 diploma, you can articulate to year 3 of an undergraduate study at a university on campus, or you can apply directly with NCC and with your accredited partner centre to actually enroll onto a course or a top-up degree offered with UCLan or with Western International College through the University of Bolton. So again, just a kind of brief visual of what that pathway might look like, depending on if you specialise or not within the business development, business management or kind of more general computing. And a cybersecurity degree pathway. We start with general level 4 diploma in computing, move on to level 5 diploma in computing with cybersecurity, and then end with the cybersecurity and networking specific top-up. The reason we have those different program titles is obviously students want to ensure that you kind of obtain that program title that's relevant to the course or the career that you're looking to go into. There's a few listed on the screen there of some of our graduates' career progression. And also to make sure that, you know, the units that are covered, the knowledge and the skills that you're gaining are relevant for each of those top-up degrees. One of the main kind of benefits or bonuses that we actually offer at NCC is with the cybersecurity and networking top-up degree, you also get the opportunity to achieve a professional certificate from CompTIA. Now, if you've not heard of CompTIA, they are a vendor-neutral IT certification provider. And so as well as kind of obtaining an academic degree from a university in partnership with NCC, you also then get the opportunity to achieve a professional certificate. Now, this is something that's quite new in the industry. To achieve an academic degree is a fantastic milestone in and of itself, but the idea that a professional certificate shows that you have fulfilled the exact needs, you can demonstrate the exact skills to be work ready for a particular position, really kind of can stand out on your CV, especially if you're looking to go into something within the cybersecurity sphere. We know at the moment there are something like 3 million job openings within cybersecurity worldwide. It's hugely sought after. There's quite a skills gap in the UK alone. So if you've got something that can kind of demonstrate that you've fulfilled those skills and you can, you know, kind of demonstrate that knowledge in a work environment, that really does stand out. And that is all part of the process. So whether you choose to study for 1 year full-time or 2 years part-time, at the end of that degree course with the University of Central Lancashire and NCC, you're then able to sit. It is another assessment. It is an additional assessment, but it's online. It's very quick. You get immediate results, and then the certificate is delivered quite soon after. So I've mentioned top-up degrees a number of times now, but what do we actually mean? So a top-up degree means that you can stay in your home country, you can study your full pathway, so you've done level 4, you've done level 5 with your accredited partner centre, either face-to-face or perhaps hybrid. You know, there might be a mixture of classroom learning and online learning, and then you enrol directly with NCC and the University of Central Lancashire. So we complete the application process. You don't have to apply directly to the university. You apply through your NCC centre, so through your college tutors or the administration team. You need to prove that you've got your level 4 and your level 5. But other than that, it's a very basic application process, you know, to kind of provide the information that's needed, like your ID, your proof of certificates, and the proof of the qualifications, and then we enroll you with the university directly. Some of the main benefits about doing a top-up degree directly with NCC is that you can study in your own time, wherever you are in the world. When 2020, during COVID and the pandemic, this program continued to operate with no issues because it's studied completely online, it's delivered online. So there were no kind of interruptions necessarily to the course itself. As long as you have that internet connection, preferably a laptop as well, rather than doing it on the phone, you can connect, you can log on to our virtual learning environment, and you can access the kind of weekly live sessions that are delivered by UK academics. We have about 6 professors on the course at the moment. They are enrolled at other universities as well, so they're constantly working within the industry, keeping up to date on things there. The course was developed by them and in partnership with NCC. And that's taught through a mixture of live sessions, tutorials, discussion forums with fellow students. I know sometimes that is a bit of a bugbear, you know, when you're not able to have that same kind of FaceTime with other students or be able to share your knowledge. But we have those kind of discussion forums and kind of replicate that through the virtual learning environment space as well. And there's also a program manager who manages the full programs from start to finish. So when you make your application, they'll be on hand They take you through an orientation. They provide welcome chats to make sure that you know how to navigate the virtual learning environment. Obviously, that's the kind of the first thing that you come to. It might look a bit different to a system that you've used before, but then you're able to navigate through and work through the topics. And it's not necessarily self-study in any way, because again, I know that that can be an issue sometimes. You want the flexibility, but you also have that support. So you're fully supported throughout. You have constant communication with your tutors, with the module leaders themselves, and feedback as well on the work that you're doing. Another, as we mentioned, top-up degree that we offer is through Western International College to achieve an award from the University of Bolton. This is specifically for our business management or business degree pathway. So this launched last year with the University of Bolton and Wink. Again, the course is delivered fully online, assessed via assignment and presentations. And if you hold the NCC Education Level 4 and Level 5 diploma in business, then you can take that and top it up to the full UK bachelor's degree. And a bonus is that you can attend the graduation ceremony on campus in Bolton as well. I know that's always quite a key question that we get. So even though you are studying remotely, you get a student ID, you're enrolled with the university, you are treated like a student at the university, and therefore you are invited to come to the graduation ceremony. And it's a great day. I get to go. Love to see all the students. It's my favourite part. So what's the point of a degree pathway with NCC? So mainly we're talking about the flexibility. You can enter at level 4, you can go away for a bit, you can work on other things, you can come back and go on to level 5. It's still relevant. You can then take that level 5 and you can top that up to the full bachelor's UK degree. It allows you to study at your own pace, and you do get a certificate at the end of each stage. I know there are certain other kind of diplomas, like advanced diplomas or H&D, where you actually only get that at the end of 2 years. With NCC, you'll achieve a recognised off-course certificate at each stage of the pathway. And it gives you space to work and study at the same time. I know Tom mentioned this in his session. Working shouldn't be taken away from studying, but very aware that it's something that's needed whilst you are studying. So that flexible academic timetable, live sessions are recorded. You're able to go back and work on it in your own time whenever is best for you. And then it helps you to achieve an industry-oriented qualification. So we've looked at some of the graduate careers that we've seen, and you're able then to kind of go in. You've got your academic degree from the university. You've potentially got that professional certificate from CompTIA, and it really puts you in good stead for those career progression opportunities. Now, if you do want to study abroad, so if you don't want to study directly with NCC and those partners that we offer, you do have a number of options for what we call articulation. So that is maybe studying level 4, maybe then going on to level 5 and wanting to do that just the final year in the UK or elsewhere. We have a number of options on campus. Some of the examples there, such as Bangor, London Metropolitan. I've tried to give a bit of an overall view, because we do have a lot spread across the world, mainly in the UK, but there are some in other countries. And this really means that you can take that diploma and then enter straight onto either year 2 or year 3 of the same degree program that is offered in the campus. So it's effectively accelerated in a way, because you've done your first or second year perhaps at home, and then you have this direct agreement with NCC and with these specific universities. So it really gives, I suppose it's more flexibility again. It's cost saving, because perhaps you've done 1 or 2 years at home, and then you're only kind of paying for the costs associated with 1 or 2 years in the UK or elsewhere. Now, we've talked about undergraduate degrees. I wanted to also mention about the postgraduate options that we have with NCC. So you can study a level 7 diploma in business management, again, at your accredited partner centre, and gain 120 credits. So you'll get a full postgraduate, Ofqual regulated, level 7, I should say, apologies, diploma with NCC education. And you can then take that, You can do many things with that in and of itself. It's Ofqual regulated and it's recognised worldwide and by employers. But you can actually take that and top that up to a full Master of Business Administration degree with Cardiff Metropolitan University. So we call it a top up again because you're taking the 120 credits and you have to achieve 180 for a full MBA in the UK. And it effectively means, again, that you do most of the learning at the Accredited Partner Centre and then just a small part with the university. So again, costs are really reduced. As long as you kind of complete the level 7 and you pass the level 7 and then you pass a very brief interview with the Cardiff Metropolitan, that entry again is guaranteed. So we've had this partnership since about 2019 and it offers an MBA via distance study. So again, you're enrolled directly with Cardiff Metropolitan as a university. You're a student of the university, but you remain in either your home country or wherever you wish to study. You complete the full diploma with your NCC Accredited Partner Centre, and then you earn 60 credits at Cardiff Metropolitan University. Important to note as well that this is a fully international cohort. It's specifically for students who are not based necessarily in the UK. We can if you are in the UK, but it's based mainly for international students to be able to achieve that MBA. Typically, MBAs in the UK can cost anywhere in the region of £15,000 to £70,000. So if you can complete your postgraduate at home with your centre while you're working, do that flexibly, and then again, complete just a 20 credit research methods module and a 40 credit or 9,000 word dissertation, that usually takes about 7 months. So again, cheaper, quicker, a lot more flexible, and a guaranteed route, provided that you make those entry requirements. And again, you can attend the graduation on campus. I just wanted to include in my session as well a few of our top-up degree student ambassadors. I'll just let you have a look at these briefly. So our student ambassadors are really key for this. We call them our online learning ambassadors, and they work with different centres. Once they've actually completed the degree, we have a lot of kind of interview sessions and things. So we'll make sure next time one of those is on to invite you to those, because it's really good to hear directly from previous students, from graduates. We've actually had a partnership with the University of Central Lancashire since 2013. So we celebrated the anniversary last year, and in that time we've had over 1,200 graduates. So it's quite an established course. It's been running for a very long time, and it works really well. Students really enjoy the kind of flexibility of it and what they gain from the end, to help them move to that next level of their career. And just a quick picture of the graduation ceremony there as well. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, but I'm happy. I think I've ended a little bit quicker, so I'm happy to answer any questions in the chat because I wasn't able to see them before.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I think that was really, really useful. A lot of pathways that we were even speaking about yesterday, and I'm sure that our World Quest attendees have gotten a complete deep dive into, which university, what exactly does a top-up degree qualification looks like. Yes, Sirtuza, over to you. You guys can keep chopping in the questions, and we'll keep answering them.
Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining in. What a wonderful session you gave. A big thank you to Tom also for joining in. So guys, this is day 2 of World Quest going on right now, and I think we're just nearing to the end of what has turned out to be an amazing event. In these 2 days, we have some very good surprises for all of you now. So the first surprise that we want to announce is that all the students that are coming to apply for the programs being offered at Oxfordian through Tutify. Noor, what's the drill? Say it out. I want you to say it out. Say it out. Let everybody know.
I wanted you to say it out. All right. Okay. You're putting me on the spotlight now. All right. So the big announcement that we wanted to make was that we have sessions commencing every quarter. So the first session that is commencing for our different programs, be it in the business or in the computing with cybersecurity, 10th of October is the session commencing date. The next date would be in January for the other quarterly session, and we're offering 100% admission fee scholarship waiver to students who are registering via Tutify.
Right? And only for the World Quest people that are here today, right? So we
Absolutely.
have your details. We know that you applied. You're gonna get your e-certificate, but we really wanted to make this something very, very special for you. So if you want to join in, and since yesterday, I must tell you, Noor, there have been a lot of queries, and I think me and you are going to be really busy after this because we have to do the one-on-one sessions. So yeah, that's about that. And in the end, I would really like Shazia to talk a bit about how the experience has been, her overall take, and what is her advice for students coming to Oxfordian through NCC. And guys, I really want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. Before I go to Shazia, I want to thank the beautiful teams over here who, what's the word, who executed this event with me. Definitely the designing team, the marketing team, especially our international consultant Tom for being so nice, graciously accepting our offer at the last very end. To all the members who were involved in terms of content, I really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who took out the time to be part of this session. Over to you, Shazia, now.
Right, can you hear me? Can I see some emojis? Show me you guys can hear me. Can I see some faces? I love to see what you look like. It's always the best way to connect because a lot of you send friend requests on LinkedIn. And one post I always put out that if I don't see who you are, how do I know whose request I'm accepting? And in a joking manner, it's like, if you're too scared to show me your face, why would I be bold enough to accept the friend request? So let's see your faces and let's have some humor. So a lot of questions were answered today, and as Irtaza and Noor and Rebecca and Tom have shared a lot of information, and some of that information will have sunk in, and some of that information will have gone over your head. So some of you will have made notes, and some of you might be thinking, I wish I could have the recording. I want to hear that again. You're not expected to understand everything, right? The first step is being here. So first and foremost, I think everybody needs hearts for everybody on the call, because they've taken that first step, that first initiative to join. So the hearts are going across my screen to celebrate everybody's presence. Secondly, as you quite rightly said, in the passion is the area of interest. What you study has to be of interest to you. If it's not of interest to you, you're not going to be able to keep yourself motivated. Many years ago, when I came into education, after I had a conventional life and a non-conventional life, you're not going to believe this. My dad said I was too old. Do I look too old now, 20 years on? And my dad said I was too old. So you've got to decide that what is it that you want to do. And do not put the blame on anybody else. You are the decision maker of your destiny. Yes, we have to look at resources, but when there is a will, I always say there's a way. There's a decision that you have to make, decide and do. Otherwise, next year, as they say, a year from now, you'd have wished you did it last year. And I guess some of you are sitting here thinking that as well. By the way, I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm into a lot of personal development. And for me, it's like, I make a decision and then I face the problems. If I know I've got to do something, I know I have to do it. I had problems in my educational journey. I had a mixture. Some of you don't know, I had a bit of a Pakistani education system, and I was British born, but my parents thought, बच्ची जो है ना ज़्यादा अंग्रेज बनती जा रही है, इसको पाकिस्तान भेजो भाई, वहाँ पे जाके पढ़े. And so this is laughing and smiling. It's true. So I have faced your matriculation system. I have sat through it myself, and I could not do the rattas. And I still remember in this convent school where they were like memorizing the text. And I was like, if I forget one word, I'll forget the whole paragraph. And this upper Potohar and lower Potohar had no clue. मेरे तो geography ही नहीं थी Pakistan. You had no idea, but I was memorizing it. I never even knew what this upper Potohar and lower Potohar, and the Indus Valley, and these are just buzzwords coming back into my head. So I have been through that ratification system, but UK is about skills. It's about sharing your knowledge. It's about, there's never a right or wrong answer. It's about how do you rationalize what you write? How do you justify your thoughts? How do you, and that is analytical writing and critical thinking. And sometimes we think it's too complicated. So I still remember when I came back into education, my father said I was too old. Yeah. I thought, I don't care what my dad says, I'm still going to do, because this one thing I wanted to do in my life was to study. And I got this admission at Brookes University, and it was the bachelor's degree in education. Don't ask me why I chose that. I just chose it because I had no career counseling. I had no clue what I wanted to do. But I thought everybody, you know, I wanted to be a medicinal doctor. Thought my dad already says I'm too old, so obviously I can't go into medicine. So the next best thing that came into my mind was, okay, let's go into education, because medicine, I'm making a difference. But in education, I'm making a difference. So I came into education by chance, and I missed my entry date because there was this battle between my family and the admissions. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. I don't care what everybody says. If I'm too old, then I'm too old. And I went into the university in October. So I had missed one whole month. Education degrees start in September because they align with the school setting. And I still remember, I'm talking back 2002. I still remember the professor his name was Cliff Marshall. And he said to me, Shazia, you're too late. Too late? Yep, you've missed a whole month. So I used to go to him every single day and knock on his door. And one day he said to me, he moved from the answer no to if. So I thought, great, he's not saying no anymore. He's saying if. At that time, I didn't realize how persistent I was, but he said if. So when he said if, I said, right, what do I have to do? What's the deal? He said, the deal is if you can get yourself a placement, a school placement, 1 a week for the next 4 weeks, I'll take you on board. I said, done. Now, I had no idea where I was going to find this placement. All I knew was that it's a qualification that I need to do. So I went around every single school in Oxford, knocking on every single door saying, I'm a volunteer. I need a placement for 1 day a week. And until somebody didn't say yes, I kept on knocking on doors. So it was basically a numbers game. Somebody had to say yes to me, right? And then I went running back to him and I said, look, I've done it. I've got a placement. And I was back on the course. And the rest is history. And today I'm trying to do my doctorate. Still, as my kids say to me, you're too old. I still get that phrase. You're too old. Why are you always studying? So learning is lifelong. And we mentioned this yesterday as well, that you can change your career path. When I did my bachelor's in education, what did I want to be? A teacher. I'm not a teacher. I am still in education, but I'm not in the classroom teaching. I still teach. As I mentioned yesterday, that I still do the diploma in education and training qualification myself. So we don't just tell people what to do, we lead by example. And I still will, so even these qualifications, which are computing and cybersecurity based, we have to make sure that Rebecca is happy with our compliance and our teachers have the right teaching qualification, right? And the DET, or the diploma, which is now going to be called the DIT, Diploma in Teaching, is that structure to give Rebecca the compliance that, yes, this tutor is allowed to teach. And that's what I said yesterday. So you just got to have a dream. And your dream's got to be big enough to scare you, because if it's not large enough to scare you, and coming across flying over to a different country is massive. It is a massive dream. And I think you heard Adil's story. He came as a student and now he's changed a generation. His wife is here, he's got children. Had he not taken that plunge all those years ago, he would not have done that. So you guys all can do it. And the best thing about England is the GPA and your top grades don't matter. If you have been somebody, you can you have the opportunity to relearn. If you have the passion, you can go back and improve your skills. You can improve your knowledge. It's entirely, if you were somebody who messed about in grade 10, 11, 12, then you know what? We have the vocational route for you, and you can relearn and change your direction again. So there's no excuse for anybody. We have given you so many pathways of support. We're saying Oxfordian's going to be launching a counselling opportunity for anybody. It doesn't have to just be Tutify, it's anyone. You know, we don't want to charge for it. We just want to give the right information, advice, and guidance. But then ultimately, you got to make the decision yourself. We can't make. I'm sorry, but we can't make that decision for you. When I was being told I can't do something, I had to make that decision. I had to stand my ground. And mark my words, I actually had to work a lot, part-time, to make my ends meet, study. And I remember the day I submitted my dissertation. This is not to scare you, but this is to, and it's not to impress you, but I guess it's to express the passion that I gave in my dissertation, and then I ended up in hospital. It was one of those years, 2008. It was really, really hot in England. We don't have air conditions. We do now, for those who are privileged to. But because I wasn't eating and drinking, and I was managing my work and my study and my finances, I literally didn't take care of myself. And I still remember my dissertation was in, and I collapsed. And the next thing I knew, I was in hospital. So when you have the passion and the drive to achieve something, is doable. Anything is doable. Little did I know when I did my master's, it was transnational education, because I was living in Dubai, working in Dubai, and I joined Murdoch University, and I'm going to Australia now. I'm super excited at the end of September. Adelaide, but this qualification's from Perth, and I've never been to Perth, and nowhere on my qualification does it say online. The academic team used to come to Dubai to teach. So nowadays it's more acceptable, because post-COVID, online qualifications have been embraced more. So yesterday somebody put a question in the chat. If I'm studying in an institution, can I still do a diploma? Well, I said it's up to you. Do you have the aptitude? I think I'm going to bring Noor on now as someone with me, because she, when I started building Oxfordian, I thought, right, this ain't going to work. How am I going to get people like myself? And suddenly God gave me Noor, a clone, so somebody like me, because she's got the same passion, drive, and ethic. So when you put the right energy out into the universe, you attract your tribe. And what's the phrase? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So you need to be...
Wonderful. Thanks, Shazia. I'm sorry.
We're gonna close on that now.
Yeah. I love that. That's why I said, you know, your say it again. Your vibe. Your vibe attracts a tribe, and I attracted Noor. I pulled her across from Pakistan into London.
So let me clear the trio. You attracted Noor, Noor attracted me, I attracted Tom. We have Rebecca. It's a win-win for everybody. I think the fellowship has been a success, and I think we do now need to move towards the group photo, because guys, let's be very honest, it's food time across Pakistan. I'm getting so many messages.
17. And I also like mirror numbers. So 1717 on my screen.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, more people. Thanks, Shayan. Thanks, Alishan. Abdullah, our
Let's see everybody's faces. Let's get those pictures. Let's get those hearts going.
Anfal, I like. Anfal has been consistent with his camera the 2 days. Wonderful. All right.
I've been inconsistent today.
Abdullah, are you taking the screenshot, or should I?
You should, please.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1, you guys. We'll have to do this thrice, so bear with me.
Let's fix our hair. Come on, everybody. It's okay to fix our hair. Check our lipstick. We all like a bit of humor. Who remembers their favorite teacher?
All right, we are done. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks to NCC, Rebecca. Thank you for joining in. Helen also, because we're recording this. I'm sure you're all hearing the music that I've put up. I checked with Tom, and he approved.
We will be doing this many more times. Stay tuned with us, because this was just the beginning of World Quest. There is more to come. And guys, for the certificates, please bear with us. Be patient with us. We're also human beings. And my wife is looking at me because she's going to kill me after this. But we will be sending in your certifications very soon. Till then, great talking to everybody. Take care.
As
Have
they
a great
say, until
weekend.
next
Bye-bye.
time, keep learning. Have fun. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Irtaza. Thank you. Special thank you to Noor. What would I do without you? So, thank you, everybody who joined. Special thank you to all the attendees. Lots of hearts.
Everybody. Thanks, Larry.